What's going on, everybody? Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend. I will be celebrating Valentine's Day after I get done with this video. Want to talk about how bad the Sacramento Kings have been this season. We're at All-Star break. The Kings are 12-44. Did not expect the Kings to be this bad, honestly speaking. I thought they would be somewhat decent, if not close to 500, but the reality is that they have been a huge disappointing team this season, and probably the most disappointing team, actually, to be honest with you guys. But it is what it is. This team is by far the worst. Hate to say this, but they are the worst Sacramento Kings team I've ever seen in my existence. And I know stat-wise, record-wise, the 2008-2009 Sacramento Kings team won 17 games and they went 17-65 overall for the season. But the reality is that they are worse than that team. I'm talking about this current team. And let me explain why they're worse and how they're currently constructed compared to that team. Go back to that team. They had no stars. I mean, I think Andres Nocioni was their star. And I would take Andres Nocioni over anybody on this team currently right now, because Andres Nocioni back then gave his heart and soul every game. Knowing that the Kings were outmatched, knowing that the Kings had nobody other than Andres Nocioni. No disrespect to Kevin Martin, but yes, Kevin Martin probably led the team that year in scoring, but the Kings traded for Andres Nocioni that season, and Nocioni gave him, some grit and a blue-collar guy. Looking at that roster right now, Rashad McCants, Kevin Martin. Bobby Jackson was on that roster, guys. That was Bobby Jackson's second go after being traded back to Sacramento, and he was at the end of his career. So the fact that Bobby Jackson was a player on that roster back then, and the fact that he's one of the assistant coaches on this current roster right now, I think Bobby Jackson might be the bad luck right here. So hate to see that for Bobby Jackson, but he was on the roster back then, and he is on the roster right now. Well, currently on the Sacramento Kings team as an assistant coach. Spencer Hawes, Dante Green, Drew freaking Gooden, man. Francisco Garcia, Quincy Doobie, Ike Diagu, Bobby Brown, Calvin Booth. Wow. And we have Rashad McCants, Brad Miller, Mikey Moore, John Salmons, Will Solomon, K9, Kenny Thomas, Jason Thompson, my guy Bano Udrich, Sheldon Williams. Wow. Yeah, that was a roster back then. And look at the roster this season. Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine. We'll talk about Zach LaVine in a minute. DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray. I get that Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis have not played a minute together this season, but that shouldn't justify how bad they've been all season. This team is unwatchable. The fact that we got to watch, we're 56 games in, and we have the remaining whatever games we have left. The fact that we got to watch that for over the next 2 months. I mean, I'm toned out, man. Honestly speaking, I'm toned out. Like, I'm ready for the season to be over with. Really damn excited to see our draft prospects and where we land in the lottery and who we can get our hands on. There's two studs that I want that just stick out in my head. I do plan on doing draft videos pretty soon, probably before March Madness. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for those draft videos. But the Kings really are a terrible basketball team, man. Disgusted, disappointed that I have to say that. And, I'm happy to take my L. Like, I honestly, you guys can more than welcome roast me and flame me, thinking that this team would be decent or a 500 basketball team. But the reality is that I honestly thought that this team was going to be decent enough, because the way the season ended last season, and I thought that they would have a chip on their shoulder to overcome that terrible ending in the play-in. And this year, they're not even going to be in the play-in. They are straight headed to the draft lottery, and we'll see where they pick. I mean, The best outcome right now is to play your youth, and it looks like they've done that now since trading for DeAndre Hunter. And going to DeAndre Hunter, I know he's been out, but even if he comes back, save him for next season. My thing is would love to see minutes for him and Keegan Murray when Keegan Murray's back, but at the same time, there's nothing to play for. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just set both of them out. And let's talk about Zach LaVine, because Zach LaVine will undergo surgery on his hand pinky. He's been having an issue with his pinky this season, and they decided to finally get a surgical procedure on that hand pinky, and he will be done. His season's done. LaVine, I think people argue the fact that he was probably the most disappointing player this season. Just a weird time for Zach LaVine because, boy, he started out hot. I mean, this guy, the first 5 to 7 games of the season, he was averaging like 30 points a game. He started out hot, man. And I don't know if just because of the losing kind of toned him out. There's been questions about him buying in and being toned out during all the season so far. And, I think the losing will do that. Losing will do that. DeMar DeRozan throwing water bottles, smashing water bottles, showing his frustration. He has not once asked out. With Zach LaVine making the money that he is. And I believe that there's a good chance that he's going to opt into his player option. So for everybody that is excited and happy to see LaVine out for the rest of the season, hate to break it to you, he's probably going to be back with the team next season, because he is not going to opt out of that $48 million player option. And I think Zach LaVine, shouldn't be a surprise if LaVine is back next season, because probably going to be hard to move him, as it was probably hard to move him by this season before the deadline. So with that being said, it sucks, man. I mean, honestly speaking, it sucks. With LaVine being out, more Neat Clifford minutes. That's only going to benefit Neat Clifford moving forward. Yes, he's been up and down the season, but as of late, he's been playing a lot better. More Devin Carter minutes too. I mean, I understand Russell Westbrook's on your team. I understand DeMar DeRozan's on your team, but play those guys. But at the same time, what the trend has been late, those guys have been sitting on the bench in the second half of the season, of the game so far, and especially in the fourth quarter. We've seen a lot of Max. We've seen a lot of Neek. We've seen a lot of Daquan Plowden. We've seen a lot of Devin Carter. And I think moving forward, after the All-Star break, that's just the way it should be. You should see a lot of your development in youth and see how your youth has developed over this season. I mean, Neat Clifford starting out the season, compared to where he's at right now, he looks much better, much comfortable, and much more aggressive than where he was starting out the season. Devin Carter didn't even sniff a minute on the court starting out the season. Getting much, much more minutes now, and he looks really good on the court. He can be a serviceable backup point guard, and I think that the Kings should not give up on him. I really do believe that the Kings should hang on to him and not dump him for nothing. Now, if he's a part of a trade for a bigger piece, then yeah, obviously, I would be considered moving him. But the reality is that the Kings are not there yet. They're not ready to trade for a big-time piece. Develop your youth and see where you're at with your youth. And then down the road, when you're ready to make that big trade for a big piece, then you do that. So, I mean, I'm not here to say the Kings' future is all gloomy and dark, because you're probably going to get a top 4, top 5 pick in this loaded, star-studded draft. And you're probably going to get a franchise player this upcoming summer. And that should set the tone for this franchise moving forward, honestly speaking. You have what you have currently right now. You get your franchise piece this summer in the draft, and then go from there. Build it from there, move forward from there, set the tone, and see what you got in that moving forward. So with that being said, I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, man. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. If you guys are tuning into the All-Star Weekend, not much hype about the All-Star Weekend this year in particular. I mean, I don't know why that's the case. Haven't seen that many commercials. Haven't seen much people in our community talking about it. I understand it's in Los Angeles, and it's in at the Intuit Dome, which is a pretty cool venue to do it, because I actually went to Intuit Dome last season, It's a pretty cool spot, pretty cool location in Inglewood, and really good, nice, very good basketball stadium. And I probably won't watch it just because I will be busy and I will be out of town. But I'm sure I'll scroll my Twitter feed and check out some of the highlights for the weekend festivities and the actual game itself. But honestly speaking, I really, and it sucks because there's no Sacramento Kings representing the All-Star Weekend this weekend. Still can't believe Max did not make the rookie and versus sophomore game. I think it's a damn shame. Some of the draft picks, some of the rookies that was taken after him made the team and not him. But it is what it is. He's very deserving of it, but at the same time, I understand the Kings suck, and they're in last place, and that might be the case why he didn't make it. So with that being said, have yourself a great Valentine's Day. Have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy All-Star Weekend if you're tuning in. Stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless. Keep pushing forward. I will catch you guys in my next video. Peace.